How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another FIFA 19 Pro Clubs video. In today's video, the main point of discussion is going to be the XP system implemented into Pro Clubs by EA Sports. Now, some of you guys might not know this, but EA Sports does actually make the effort to provide articles explaining how to gain XP or how to level up your player, or in my quick description, what is the science behind a Pro Club XP system or how to level up faster. Those articles for FIFA 19 will be in the description. Those articles are very important to this video, but they are pretty long to read, so that's why I wanted to make this video, make it easier for you guys to follow. So if you guys do find this video helpful and you did enjoy it, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more Pro Clubs content in the future. If you have been following the channel for a while, you guys probably noticed that I did put a video out on the beginning of FIFA 19 explaining how to get maxed overall. That video is pretty close to this one. It's pretty tied up to this one. On that video, I got a lot of questions about XP, about skill points, where can you earn them, where can you not earn them. So I will explain that in this video for you guys. So make sure you guys pause the video if you need to, because there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of graphic that you guys want to look at and really pay attention to. So first things first, let's talk about Virtual Pro experience. Where can you earn them? You can earn XP in league games and cup games only. Again, drop pins do not give you skill points, which we'll address later, but it also does not give you XP. So if you're trying to play drop pins to get XP to level up your player, you will not level up. It just doesn't happen. It's just something EA kind of explained in the article. So you only earn them in league games, in clubs. So if you're new to Pro Clubs, just create a club. You need a minimum of 2 players to play. Go into the lobby. And you can just start up as a captain, select league game, play one, and if the cup window is open, then play cup, and you will gain XP. Drop in, again, do not give you XP at all. And friendly games, of course, those who play competitive know that it does not give you XP. Next thing, there's two types of XP. There is base match XP, which we'll address in a second, and there is bonus XP, which we'll also address. Based off of these, we will branch out and talk about what's your primary attribute, what's your secondary attribute, and what's your third tier attribute. And we also explain what is your attribute gaps. Now, I will be showing you guys a couple of graphics on the video, but if you guys want to follow them, you guys can also check out the link in the PDF for specifically for the attribute, because these attributes does not reflect your player having having skill points applied to your trait. It only is showing you without applying skill points into to get any traits. So keep that in mind when you guys are looking at the attribute gap. So if you see a 91 finishing, that is before you add a skill point into your finishing. So keep that in mind when we're talking about that. Now, lastly, we'll address skill points and traits at the end of the video. So let's go and explain what bonus base match XP is. So base match XP is the match rate is based off of your match rating from 0.0 to 10.0. It's a specific XP you get. And based on your match rating, so let's say you get a 7.0, you would get 950 base match XP. And based off that match XP, you get 100% of that will get into your primary attribute, which we will show you guys in a second. And then your secondary attribute will only gain 70% of that, and then your third attribute will only get 30% of that base match XP, which is 950. If you wanted to do the math real quick, you can just pause the video. 950 times 70 will give you show you what you would get for your secondary attribute, and then the third tier attribute, it's only 30%, and you can do that math, and it'll kind of show you that. But this is pretty much how it shows. But if I wanted to give you guys a quick example in my kind of way, let's say like me, I'm getting 9.0 per game. That gives me 1,275 XP, base match XP. My primary attribute will gain the base match XP of 1,275. My secondary will only gain, again, 70% of that, which is 892 base match XP. And then my third tier will only gain 382 base match XP. Those are just base match XP. That's just how they explain. If it is if you have a 7.2, it will round it down. So instead of going to get the 1,100, you would actually only get 950. If you have an 8.8, it will actually still round it down as of the article explained. So instead of getting 1,275, they actually still round it down. So you always want to try to get the best out of the game. Try to play well with your teammates, and get the best match rating possible. So that's why it's important to play well in these games. And there's a lot of tips, builds that on the channel that will help you guys with that. So make sure you guys check that out. Next thing, I did talk about your primary attribute, how they get affected based on your base match XP. Each position have a set of attributes that are your primary for that position. So this on the screen, you guys can see the primary for striker, cam, left mid, right mid, and you can also see CDM, left back, right back, center back, and goalkeeper. Now, these positions don't reflect if you are in game. It just matters what actual position you are, what actual build you are using. So let's say you're playing CM, but you're using a cam build, then your primary is going to be focused on your cam primary. That's what you want to look at. If you're playing CDM as CM as a CDM, then you want to look at that. If you're playing left back as CDM, then you want to look left back. You want to look at the CDM build. These reflect on the build you're using, not the position you're specifically playing in game. So keep that in mind. If you guys want to find out more information, or you guys want to pause this video, you guys can do that and check these out. Or you guys can click the link in the description, and it will actually explain. The first one will explain all of these for you guys as well. That way you guys can read it after the video if you guys really wanted to pay attention to it. But these are important because it will also show you guys how you gain XP and base match XP, what gets affected, what doesn't get affected, where should you put your skill points, where should you not put your skill points. Those are very important, so keep that in mind when you guys are looking at that. Next thing, we're going to talk about bonus XP. Now, bonus XP is something that is more important in game. This is something that you earn for doing a specific action in game. So let's say you score a goal inside the box. It doesn't matter what position you play. It doesn't matter if you're a goalkeeper scoring a goal inside the box. You would get your finishing 40 XP. But remember, it's very important because there is attribute gaps. So if a goalkeeper, your finishing is probably not going to be that high anyway, so you might reach that gap. But if you're a striker, to gain that XP for that specific position, if you're looking to grow something, a specific attribute, then this is what you want to look at. So let's say I'm a striker. If I score inside the box, I get 40 XP for finishing on top of the base XP of a 9.0 match rating, which it's just going to keep adding up. At the end of the day, what it does is it just keeps adding up and you get a lot of points. So if you score a hat trick, you get another 75 XP. If you're a defender, you get a lot of stuff as well for marking, 5 XP. You get 5 XP for tackling. And the reason I think why defensive is they give you less XP is because actually you get more action. Defense gets more action than actually offense in most cases, because if you make one tackle, you will get a lot. You get a lot, and also defense, you guys get a lot of skill points. Your skill points is a lot easier to put through because you don't have to spend as much skill points to gain, to put in your traits to level up your attributes in general. So that's why goalkeepers do get a lot of love, as you guys can see on the screen. So that is awesome to see because EA actually didn't do that. I do feel like defense didn't get as much because they only 5, 5, 10, 10 and stuff like that. So that's a little bit tough, but it is what it is. But again, guys, remember, this doesn't matter what position you play to get bonus XP. It's just the action. So if you do the action, you get the XP. But of course, the attribute gaps will kind of affect how much you can grow in that specific attribute. Next thing is the attribute gaps. That's what we're going to be talking about here in a second. For this one, guys, I definitely wanted you guys to check out the link in the description, the second link about the PDF. These attributes that you guys are seeing on the screen, this is attribute that are basically attribute that are only specifically for those positions. Doesn't matter what height or weight you are playing. So if you play 6 foot, 149, or you play 6'6", 249 pounds, it doesn't matter. These attributes for that specific position will still be the same no matter what position or what weight you class or height you put. These will be the same for the position. So if you're a striker, your stats for a striker, these stats for your striker will always stay the same. If you're a center back, your stats for a center back will always stay the same. This ones will always stay the same. The only thing that get affected in terms of attribute gaps is your physical gaps, which will be in the description. You guys definitely want to click that because that is a little bit more detailed. And I want you guys to look at that because a lot of people play different heights, so I don't want to put that in the video because it makes the video super long. But just click on that and it will explain to you guys each and all of that. But if you're a striker, let's say like me, a 6 foot, 149 pounds, those are my attribute gaps for those specific attributes. And again, if I want to go on the PDF file, I'll scroll down all the way to the 6 foot, 149 pounds, and it will tell me what my physical capabilities or max attribute gaps are. And I know for a fact that my pace for a 6 foot, 149 pound striker is 93 sprint speed, I believe, and 92 acceleration. That's just what my gap is in terms of the striker 6 foot, 149. Actually, it's 93 acceleration, 92 sprint speed. That's what my physical thing is, but that's after I use my traits. Before my traits, it will be 88 acceleration and 87 sprint speed. So keep that in mind. But again, guys, this right here is why I want you guys to click on that and check it out. Very important one. It's something that EA hasn't put out, and this is the first time they put it out, so it's very interesting to see. And this actually will tell you also what your maxed overall will be if you wanted to test that out. Now, in terms of skill points and traits, pretty much skill points is pretty much the same as XP. You only earn skill points in league or cup games. You do not earn skill points in drop-in. So if you're playing drop-in trying to get skill points or XP, that does not happen. You will not level up and you will not actually get any skill points whatsoever. Now on this table, you guys are looking at the screen, you guys can see that when you start off, you get 15 skill points with 0 games played. As you play games, you get more skill points. So an example is if you play 30 games, then you get 54 skill points, because when you played your exact 30 game, you get a +3 and you get 54 at that. And then once you play 100 club games, cup or league games, not drop-ins again, do not play drop-ins. If you play 100 games in drop-ins, you will not have 110 skill points. You will still be stuck at 15 skill points. The reason why I'm addressing this, and I know a lot of people will actually ask me in the comment section below, oh, I have 154 games, but I do not have 110 skill points max. The reason for that is because you have played drop-in games. That's why you don't have that. If you do have an issue where you do have already played 100 games in League or Cup games, which is really odd to kind of really pay attention to, or if you have never played drop-ins whatsoever because you hate it, then you can send it, you can put it in there, and I'll try to see if there's anything I can help you with. Maybe you might have to delete your player and reset it or something like that. There's a lot of things you can do to fix that. But this is pretty much how you earn skill points. And then now, you guys, on the screen, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that throughout the video we explained. We explained about base skill points, how you earn skill points, how you base XP, how you earn base XP, how you earn skill points, how you earn what's your primary, what's your secondary, what's your third tier attribute, and all of that. Pretty much this whole part right here will add up everything all together. So the end of the day, what you need to do is play well in games, play a lot of games, play well in league and cup games. Those are very important. Get a good match rating to get a good higher base match XP. And then also a higher base match XP most likely means more bonus XP. Your bonus XP is important. Focus, when you're looking at your traits and adding traits, focus on your primary attribute, which I showed you guys. Your secondary attribute, if you wanted to know what's your secondary attribute, really the way to tell it what's your secondary attribute is by looking at let's say I go to my passing. The only way you will tell if it's a primary or secondary, primary is already shown for you guys, but secondary is by anything below 63 on an attribute without putting your trait on, after you're maxed out at that gap, specifically when that is showing 100%. That is a third tier. Anything below 63 is a third tier attribute. Anything above a 64 above is actually your secondary. So as a striker that I'm playing, crossing would be my secondary attribute, but long pass would be my third tier attribute. But now let me show you guys what I use for a striker. I focus on my primary. So strength is one of them, so I would put some in there. Dribbling, of course, is some of them, so I would use them in there. Ball control and dribbling. Agility is important as well because I need to get those right down there, so that's why I have to use it. At the end of the day, I'll show you guys a couple more things you could do. Short passing is one of them, so I would add those right now. And then for finishing, for shooting, of course, you do have your finishing. That is very important. You need to put that up. And the other reason why you want to do this as well is it will actually also raise your attribute gaps. So after you look at the gaps on the PDF file in the description, if you want to raise those gaps, all you have to do is apply these traits. So for example, the max you can get as a striker, 6', 149 striker pace is 88 acceleration, 87 sprint speed. And the reason for that, the only way you can raise that is by adding your skill points in, and that will give you 93 and 92. That's the max you can have with a 6', 149 pounds striker. Now, if you guys again want to look at specifically what you can get for other players, a 5'5", 5'8", 149 striker, then you want to go and look at the PDF file and explain that to you. Now, I'm going to focus on my secondary attribute now. Now I'm going to put traits that I use that will help me in game. Now, free kick is a secondary trait, a secondary attribute because it's above 64. So I don't really focus on it right now, but I'm going to put stuff that I need as a striker that I like using. So again, these is all up to the build and how you play. If you don't use skill moves, don't put them, of course. If you do, then do them. If you don't use your skill moves points, then put it somewhere else. I use flare traits for those bicycle kicks, which is going to be sadly patched very soon, but I use them for that. But in general, guys, that is pretty much the video for you guys. If you guys had any question, I know it was a bit long, but I pretty much can assure you guys that article is actually took me even longer to read and really understand and grasp. So if you guys really found this video helpful and you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more Pro Clubs content in the future. If you guys have any question, make sure you guys leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to help you guys to the best of my ability. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next video.